This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good night, Grant Garrison. How are you doing on this wonderful, beautiful night?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you, sir?
I am excellent. It's a great pleasure to connect. What part of the world are you in right now?
I'm in Colorado, just above Boulder.
All right. Well, do tell me which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this specific time in history.
I am a multimedia specialist who grew up in the entertainment industry and have been marketing myself and promoting myself, for lack of a better term, in need of a job on media resources like LinkedIn, which I believe is where we initially connected.
We did connect there. So yeah, tell me about what you do exactly in the media world, please.
Well, I build websites. I produce audio productions, video productions. I do so many different things that's why I simply use the broader term multimedia specialist to cover all the bases. I sort of grew up in the entertainment industry and then spent a lot of years in film and television, and audio production was sort of in my blood, having grown up with a musician as a father. So that's how I was sort of introduced to the entertainment industry to begin with.
Your father looked like a devious entrepreneur from the picture I saw on LinkedIn with him and your mother. Was he?
Oh, well, absolutely. He had a studio in Nashville, Tennessee, where I was born, on Music Row in the Fair and Young building, where I pretty much grew up in the studio with him and Mom working together to help promote feature sound studios. My dad had a fairly amazing career in music with George Jones and the Jones Boys. He was the original lead guitarist for George Jones and the Jones Boys. That's where he got his stage name, Gary Parker. It was actually George gave that to him on on stage during a live show in front of an audience. That's where my dad got his stage name. But George couldn't remember our family last name, so he used Parker live in front of everyone. And there's a picture on my dad's website where you see George Jones, and my dad. The look on my dad's face is pretty apparent that it was a shock to him what his new name was going to be from that time on.
It's like a baptismal, right?
Absolutely, by fire, absolutely, on the spot. Yeah, very good.
That's super cool.
I've tried to get a head start on some of your questions that you use consistently with some of your other guests. So I try to be Mr. Professional here, but I have a tendency to meander sometimes. So
no, you're good. Yeah, I usually, when I realize, I say, okay, let me attempt to spin things up a bit. Right. When I realize the person comes, practiced. So yeah, I love that. But yeah, you're doing well, my friend. You're doing well. So you're this guy, you help people. I mean, you would have been great on our road trip. Like, I was the multimedia guy, I was the driver, I was doing everything because one of the guys that was with us, he ended up having to end the trip. So I'm guessing you're like the all-to-do person, are you?
I do wear quite a few different hats quite frequently. You have to. In today's economy, you've got to wear a lot of different hats.
So where's the best place for someone that's listening to connect with you, Grant?
Well, at grantgarrison.net, I'm building my own online portfolio once again. One of those I got to speak to my own defense here on the website. If you go there now, you'll see quite a few things that need a little bit of brushing up. But I'm a mechanic who's better at fixing everyone else's cars, and mine is always in the shop. So I'm trying to get mine finished up. The engine's running. There's quite a bit on there to take a look at. You can see some of my examples of the websites I've done. To speak on my film and television experience, have you ever seen the original Dumb and Dumber?
I have, yeah.
Do you remember the dog van?
I do.
Well, it was the Mutt Cuts dog band, and we made actually two of those. I worked in the art department for a gentleman named Sidney Jackson Bartholomew Jr., who passed away a few years ago, and he was a mentor and a teacher and an amazing person to work for and work with on not only Dumb and Dumber, but Kingpin and a few other Fairley Brothers projects and music videos, commercials. I was sort of his assistant and gopher, if you will, at the time. He would give me work wherever he could on projects that he was involved with. And when I wasn't working on a film or music video or commercial for Sid, I was probably working on his sailboat down at the marina, scraping barnacles or taking his dogs to the groomer and whatnot. So yeah, I had a lot of cool experiences with that guy. He actually came up with a lot of the concepts they used in the Pee-wee's Playhouse television series many years ago. He was the crazy creative individual and force behind that brainchild.
How would you describe yourself?
I'm a jack of all trades. I try to hover between creative and business, but I tend to be more of a creative.
How does that make you feel?
Yeah. Well, I feel pretty honored and privileged to have worked with so many amazing people in film and television and audio and video. Even out here locally, there's some amazing talent that I've been involved with at Front Range Media and Sublime Creations, the folks that just really make it a privilege and an honor to work with, even on small businesses to individual talents and so on. How does it make me feel? I feel very lucky. I really do.
Would you suggest to someone that's listening, a creative, that they do what you've done?
Well, things get tough. Things get hard. But if you stay true to your art and stay true to your focus, what makes you happy, what sparks your joy, what really brings to you the most possible joy that you can feel when you're doing it, try to find something that you can do that brings you as close to that if possible. Otherwise, quit what you're doing and do that, if you have to. No job is so good that you can't quit and find another job. I know it sounds crazy in this economy to say that, but it's out there. If you stay focused and hone yourself like a laser in what you want to do, when times are tough and you have to do other things to get yourself through. I mean, you're a graphic designer that happens to be flipping burgers or delivering pizza, or painting houses, but you're always that thing that you want to do. And I just want people to. I suffer from PTSD and clinical depression, and it's hard for me sometimes to stay focused on my goals because I get a little bit downtrodden. I get hard on myself. And that's maybe sometimes why I haven't achieved some of my more loftier goals. So I would just say, don't let it get you down.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's something that happens in the entrepreneurial world, though. It's promoted. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Rejection's tough. I mean, and the tough thing for an artist, which I have to say, I tend to lend myself towards more being an artist than I am a business person or a salesman, and that's one of my weaknesses. And it's hard to do that as an entrepreneur, as a business person. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I must focus on that for a moment because that's one of my biggest weaknesses and downfalls is not being stronger in a sales and self-representational focus, because that's what I need most in order to pay the bills. That's where the money is. And then there's collections. And after you get paid, depending on your payment structure as a freelancer, you can get stiffed many times, which I have. It's rough. So, and it's hard after getting stiffed so many times consecutively to go, oh, wow, why am I, you say so many times, why am I even doing this? Why don't I just, go to a temp agency or sign up with an employment agency somewhere or go flip burgers or go do delivering pizza, or sometimes you got to do that anyway. Sometimes you end up going, well, shoot, I'm out of money and I'm broke and I got to do that. But don't let it
kill the creativity.
Keep your mind and eyes focused on your goals. And keep your heart open to those new opportunities as they come up, because they will. So I'm sorry. Go on with your. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good. I said don't kill the creativity. Yeah, keep doing what you need to do. Amazing audience. You're hearing it live here from Grant Garrison. Check him out, grantgarrison.net. Grant, Yeah, you're welcome. Let's switch gears for a moment. Let me invite you now into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm blue Caribbean water.
Sounds beautiful.
Grant, what is your earliest childhood memory?
Well, probably as a toddler growing up with my parents around so many wonderful people in the studio, sitting in the bleachers, smelling the carpet. And that era of shag carpet, I think, had a definite a new car smell to it that can't be explained. And being there in the studio when my father had just built it back in the early 70s, yeah, I think I was probably 3 or 4 was my earliest memory of a really clear memory of being alert to what was going on, because there was so much going on. I think it had such an impact. He was surrounded by people like Johnny Cash and Waylon Jennings, and those were giants to me. I was a little tiny little guy, and seeing these big guys and these men in black coming into the studio and hang out with my dad to produce music, it was pretty surreal looking back on it, for sure. But yeah, it's my earliest memory.
How do you see that memory connecting to who you are today?
Oh, it's beyond a shadow of a doubt what has driven me throughout all of my life to participate in the entertainment industry. It's just part of who I am and what I do. I love entertaining people as much as I can, when I can, and participating in the creative process when I can, where I can. And that's why I've chosen to wear so many hats, because there are so many different opportunities to express yourself artistically. And creatively, it made
your audio just kicked into the robotic song there.
Oh no! I'm so sorry. Is that any better?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay. So I hope that'll go away now.
Oh yeah, I hope. I'll have to keep it though. I'm not editing that out.
Okay. Right on.
That's wonderful. All right, my friend. If we fast forwarded to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
I think I was 12. That was 1985. Holy cow! There's so many amazing songs came out in '85. Tears for Fears were huge. Tina Turner, We Don't Need Another Hero. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, I am in love with Tina Turner. My wife knows this, and she's okay with it. She understands, because it's Tina Turner.
Love it. Grant, well, we've arrived at our destination. But before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready?
You bet.
Grant, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Yes.
Are you married?
Yes.
Do you have children?
Yes.
Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No.
What about 3 hours a week?
Yes.
What about screen time, the phone and or the computer? More than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
More than 8.
Grant, if you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents Grant Garrison, what would you say that is?
Be true to not only yourself, but to the things that you love and are passionate about, and always be honorable.
Love it. Oh, that was perfect. That was perfect. It's like,
my daughter.
That's perfect. Love it. Well, Grant, this was a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else? Is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
I would like to thank you, first of all and foremost, for this opportunity and for sharing your time with me and asking these wonderful questions and giving me an opportunity to share a little bit about myself with you. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
You're welcome, and thank you. And thank you for having your kids on,
It's an honor.
Grant Garrison, thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Have a beautiful day.
Thank you.
This segment has been brought to you by Amazel Enterprise.